is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Sports Zone.
The defending National League champions are in town, and there's no better time to end a skid than tonight. Two of Major League Baseball's top starting pitching rotations are ready to duel, while the Redbirds and Braves hitters hope to get back on track. It's Monday Night Baseball on Sports South. The Cardinals and Braves meet for the first time next. It's another beautiful baseball night in Atlanta, and the St. Louis Cardinals are in town for their one and only visit to Atlanta, Georgia. All year long, Braves baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, the right stuff, the low price every day. A big crowd filing into Turner Field as two ball clubs suffering through similar problems meet for the first time here in Atlanta tonight. Hi again, friends, along with Joe Simpson and old wooden ankles, Tom Glavine. I'm Chip Carey. Welcome to our first look at the St. Louis Cardinals, a club that always seems to bring out the best in Atlanta. The losing streak is 6, and hopefully, Joe, Shelby Miller will be just the tonic for the Braves offense tonight.
Well, the Braves did get a look at Shelby Miller last year. He was a 15-game winner for the St. Louis Cardinals last year and a former #1 pick, yes, out of that draft of 2009. Got a good fastball, uses a cutter off that, pretty decent curveball that's a little bit of a work in progress, but he can work upstairs with his fastball. Trouble for Shelby Miller this year is the fact that he's walking a bunch of guys, something he didn't do last year. Hopefully he'll accommodate the Braves tonight and their lack of offense by putting a few guys on base for him.
And Aaron Harang's the man that gets the ball for the Braves. Harang has really been a godsend, Tommy, for Atlanta. His last start notwithstanding, Aaron's done great work in rotation for the Braves.
Yeah, I mean, he's been nothing short of spectacular. I don't think anybody would have complained if you said to them, hey, he's going to be 3-2 with a 2.97 ERA going into May. He's done everything and more than the Braves could have asked for. You see there in 3 starts this season, 1-1 with 1.5 ERA here at Turner Field. So, like you said, he's going to look to bounce back from his last time out. Go out there tonight, give the Braves a good opportunity to win a ball game, and hopefully we can string together some hits and do just that.
Only Bronson Arroyo has made more career starts against St. Louis than Aaron Harang. Let's hope that experience pays big dividends for the Braves tonight. It is a much different-looking offensive lineup for Freddie Gonzalez. When we come back, Tom Hart will talk about a dramatic lineup shakeup for the Braves before Game 1 of our series tonight.
first of 3. Welcome back to Turner Field, everybody. I'm Tom Hart. The offense has been less than perfect, so Freddie Gonzalez has shaken some things up, taking a page from Hall of Famer Tony La Russa. What is old hat in St. Louis is relatively new for these Braves. You see, in the late 90s with Mark McGwire, Tony La Russa decided to bat his pitcher 8th. He did it again in 07 with Albert Pujols batting in the 3-hole. So Freddie Gonzalez has called for this change to benefit a couple of his hitters, namely Freddie Freeman. Why the change? Well, over the last week, the Braves offense has been dreadful. Just 1-6, riding a 6-game losing streak, about a run and a half per game for a team that's hitting 186. It's not just the change to the lineup either. Freddie Gonzalez is doing everything he can to mix it up.
Moved a different seat, came in a different direction, rode around the perimeter twice before I went home, whatever last night, so whatever it takes. Because it's a drastic move, right? I mean, it's not very many people do it. I think Tony's done it more than anybody's ever done it, Tony La Russa. And you know, my reasoning behind it is last year we moved Justin to the 2-hole, right? And we ran a couple of good long winning streaks, number one. Number two is our best hitter right now arguably is Freddie Freeman. He gets a chance to hit 3rd in the 1st inning, and then he gets a chance, hopefully, if it all works out, he hits 3rd or 4th the next time around with more people on base.
2-hole work for Justin Upton last season. His batting average was 50 points higher. His slugging percentage 100 points higher. Braves look for some offense, and we've done all we could do from the broadcast booth. Traded Smoltz for Glavine. See if that works to end this skid. Chip, Joe, and Tom will have the call as Aaron Harang goes for the Braves in Game 1 between Atlanta and St. Louis.
Losing streak tonight. Cardinals are in town, but the Redbirds have problems of their own. They're 5 games behind Milwaukee in the National League Central. They're at 16-16 on the year, and their schedule has not been kind to them at all. The Cardinals have been on the road almost the entire season, it seems. At the beginning of this 2014 campaign, the Cardinals have played just 12 games at home, 20 on the road. And they may be suffering through a bit of road weariness after dropping 2 out of 3 to the Cubs at Wrigley Field yesterday, and a late night last night after playing in the Sunday night game in Chicago as well. So Mike Matheny's Toyota starting 9 features Matt Carpenter leading off, Molina, Matt Holliday 2nd and 3rd. Matt Adams has been a hit machine. He's their first baseman with Alan Craig in right. Johnny Peralta, their new shortstop. Peter Borges is in center. Mark Ellis at second base, and Shelby Miller will pitch and hit. 9th against Braves right-hander Aaron Harang.
Aaron Harang making his 7th start on the year, 3-2 with a 2.97 ERA. looking to bounce back. Like we said, you see his numbers against the National League Central since 2012. Pretty good. 5-2 with a 2.49, 11 quality starts in his last 12. So look for that trend to continue and see if he can't help get this ship going back in the right direction.
His 4 keys to pitching success tonight, just that, Tommy. Get back on track after that rough outing down in Miami. It pitched so brilliantly before that. And actually early in that ball game, he was pitching pretty well. He just wasn't getting any borderline pitches. It kind of had him behind the 8 ball early on. And a familiar foe, to say the least. 25 career starts against St. Louis. He knows this club pretty well from his days, especially with Cincinnati.
So Aaron Harang on a warm night has this defense behind him for game 1. Justin, BJ, and Jason Hayward left to right in the outfield. Ramiro Pena gets the start at second base for Dan Uggla. Andrelton Simmons back in the lineup as well after yesterday's day off. Nice crowd gathering on a warm sunny night. Let's hope the Braves can get back in the win column. Atlanta starts play tonight. 1.5 game ahead of the Nationals, a game ahead of the Mets. The Phillies and Marlins only a game and a half back. Every team in the National League East is above 500. And Matt Carpenter's the leadoff man for the Redbirds. And Harang delivers a strike. So says Tim Timmons. He's our home plate umpire tonight. Wow, 86 degrees at first pitch. Gentle breeze blowing out. And that just missed even count.
Boy, what a year this guy had last year. Led the majors in runs scored, hits, doubles, Silver Slugger winner. He got a nice contract extension at the end of the year as well.
Short hop off the heel of Freeman's glove. He'll recover and flip to Harang, and just in time. Carpenter called out at first, and Mike Matheny will come out, and this one might be reviewed.
Well, he was out of the dugout quickly too. Carpenter's going to hang around at first base pending the answer he gives Tim Welke at first base.
I was surprised by the call in live action.
Tough.
Stay awake.
And the Cardinals will not appeal the play. So the bang bang play goes Atlanta's way. And we'll take one more look.
Just a little lesson to all you young players out there. Don't ever give up on a play. You just never know.
Saw a story online today that as of the start of play today, 101 of 222 replays have been overturned. It's about 46%. As Molina grounds deep short, Simmons scrambles to his feet and throws out the Cardinal catcher on a fine play. 2 out.
Love the way this game's starting. I know Yadier Molina doesn't run well, but on a diving stop and throw from the hole at shortstop to throw him out by 3 steps, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, nice play. Get your infielders involved right away. It's good to see Aaron getting balls on the ground, so that's a good sign as well.
Matt Holliday's a 6-time All-Star. He's having a rough road trip, however, for the Cardinals. Just 1 hit in 11 tries. He's tied for their team lead with Molina in RBIs with 17 of them so far and 2 home runs. Stat that really jumped out for me, guys, when you saw this Cardinal club: 20 homers as a team.
They just can't get everybody put in the right spot. That doesn't account for the lack of homers, but it does account for a little bit of lack of runs scored. But I think, as it was described to me, Chip, they're a little road weary. These guys are a little tired, and they've still got this series to go. It'll be June 1st before they have a 50-50 split of home and road games.
26 of the first 38 Cardinal games on the road this year. The last time that happened for a St. Louis franchise was 1927. And Holiday couldn't stop his swing, and Aaron Harang breezes through the top of the first in 1-2-3 fashion.
Power, the Home Depot, and Zaxby's Indescribably Good.
Hey, happy Cinco de Mayo. And let's hope Atlanta can snap their losing streak tonight. Take a look at Freddie Gonzalez's Toyota starting lineup. Note who's hitting 8th. The pitcher, Aaron Harang, in front of Ramiro Pena. Justin Upton has moved to the 2nd spot in between Jason Hayward and Freddie Freeman. Tom Hart gave you the explanation why, and heard from Freddie Gonzalez as well. Hopefully that'll work out against Shelby Miller.
Can't tell you how jealous I am. But anyway, Shelby Miller making his 7th start on the year. See, he's 3-2 with a 3.15 ERA. Last 4 starts, 3-0 with a 1.57 ERA, and that includes his last time out where he went 6 innings and got the win against Milwaukee.
His forward keys to pitching success. He's been an escape artist. A lot of walks and hits, but you can see a great ERA. He's been pitching around that by not giving up hits when runners are in scoring position. And also 2 good fastballs. He's got a 4-seamer that'll range up to 97 miles an hour and a 2-seamer that he'll throw a cutter off of that's pretty good too, in the low 90s.
Jason Hayward, the Braves hitter, 1 ball, 1 strike. Hayward's got not bad right now. He's hit safely in 12 of his last 14 games. And now he's behind the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. I think it's fair to say that the Braves didn't suffer against the Giants from a lack of scoring opportunities, but a lack of big hits in those scoring opportunities. And in facing Shelby Miller, if he pitches according to plan, the Braves should have lots of opportunities to put runners on and hopefully bring them home.
If they will be patient. If they'll be patient with this guy and make sure they get a pitch to hit. Because, as I said, 21 walks in 34 innings. That's a big number for him.
And Hayward is patient. There's one of those walks. Good start for Atlanta. Justin Upton hitting 2nd now will be the Braves batter.
I'm sure he doesn't want to continue pitching the way he's been pitching, which seems to be that he walks himself into trouble before he starts making some pitches, and and doing the things he wants to do. Fortunately for him, he's pitched really well with runners on base and runners in scoring position. But over the course of the year, that is an awful tough way to have to go out there and try and do your job.
14 hits, 12 walks in 17 innings over the last 3 starts for Miller. He's only given up 3 runs. And Upton had a good swing and fouled it back. Strike 1.
See, the trouble with that too, though, is you're not going to get many innings out of him. You see his last 3 starts, he's went 6 innings his last time out, 5 2/3, 5 1/3. So whether it's the pitch count that's getting up there because of the walks or just the stressful innings, you know, either way, it's just, you see there is 21 walks, leads the National League, 5.5 walks per 9 innings. I mean, that's creating an awful lot of stress for yourself.
One big weapon for Miller, too, is the man working with him behind the plate, Yadier Molina. All the base runners he has had on base, this guy can almost single-handedly shut down an opponent's running game.
No question. Better percentage of throwing out base stealers than anybody in baseball currently.
He's got Upton behind, no balls, 2 strikes. And now 1 and 2.
I love the change in lineup. I had been hoping that the losing streak would create a change in lineup just to shake things up. I had never envisioned him putting Harang 8th, but he's done it before, and I'm on board with that too, if that's what it takes to move people around. I was teasing Justin Upton before the game during batting practice. I said, I was giving a motion like I was going to drop a bunt down, and he goes, oh yeah, choking up, going to right field. That'll be me, number 2.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Upton with 8 homers. As Hayward leads from first. And way high, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
%7 of base stealers, almost 1 out of every 2 he guns down.
Okay, that pretty much eliminates the running game for the marginal guys. You better be an elite base stealer to even be thinking about trying to get a stolen base off of him.
Big breaking ball froze Upton, and Justin's retired on a called 3rd strike. And 1 on, 1 out for Freddie Freeman.
PNC Fox tracks the curveball. Well, I guess that's a good spot.
Yeah, that's a money pitch right there. That's the one, as I've said many times, you hitting that bottom square, that's the one you practice in the bullpen.
See if the Braves can get Freddie Freeman going tonight. He has 3 hits in his last 31 at bats.
Going to defense him kind of like the Giants did with the 3rd baseman way off the line and the shortstop up the middle.
Outside ball 1. Even count for Freddie Freeman. Homestead has not been kind to Freeman's eyes. He's had all kinds of trouble with them. Hopefully he's got 20/20 vision against Miller here in game 1 of the series. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's not as breezy tonight as it has been. That may work to his favor too.
And what breeze there is appears to be blowing out. Favorable wind for a left-hand hitter. center. Borges can't make the play. And it'll skip past him. Hayward on his way to third. Freeman's going to try for second. The throw is going to be late. Second and third, one out. It's a double for Freeman.
Peter Borges is one of the fastest players in baseball. That's why they got him and wanted him from the Angels. He almost came up with a spectacular play here, and he was very lucky and maybe very good at keeping that ball from going all the way to the fence.
So great chance for the Braves to strike first. First opportunity for Atlanta with runners in scoring position. And two are on the pond for Gaddis.
Hard hit ball sinking in front of him. And he even went to a backhand block of the ball. Very fortunate that he got a piece of it.
Well, the Braves' troubles as a club with runners in scoring position. They're hitting .210 as a team. That has not been a problem for Evan Gaddis. He's 4 for 13. That's a .308 batting average.
If you pay attention to numbers, scoring a run right here would be a big deal. Braves are 10-0 when they score first. So,
oh, what a cut!
This is another one of those situations I was talking about yesterday, though, Chip, where even a sacrifice fly or a ground out that gets you a run kind of enhances the numbers of hitting with runners in scoring position. It doesn't look quite as ugly. And even though it won't be a base hit, it'll get a run in.
Hayward started with a walk after a Justin Upton strikeout. Freeman doubled in front of Borges in center. Now Gaddis awaits an 0-2 pitch. And this is where Miller has been so tough. Opponents are 1 for 23 against him in runners in scoring position situations.
Another great play by the perennial Gold Glover. He didn't just catch it. He didn't just catch it on the short hop. He's ready to throw you out at third base.
a lot of guys, you see that ball in the dirt, you start to anticipate and go. He'll be jumping up and throwing you out.
And Gaddis chased a high fastball. So Miller puts himself in trouble. He's an out away from getting out of trouble in the first inning.
This is a spot, Tom, that they're going on Evan, and that's upstairs. And like the old line from A League of Their Own, the two sisters, can't hit it, can't lay off it. That's been the problem for Evan lately.
Well, it's a tough pitch for guys to lay up, particularly fastball hitters, because it looks so good, and you look like you can get to it, and you just can't.
B.J. Upton, the batter, with 2 outs. He's got a hit in 7 of his last 8 games. And is batting 5th tonight. Well, the average isn't where B.J. wants it. He has been getting on base. He leads this team in walks with 14. And he'll face an even count.
And this is one of the things I'd be interested to see, and Joe, maybe you can comment on it as we go on, but for this Braves team, they're struggling to score runs. You know, everybody immediately talks about, well, be more patient, change your approach. The Braves are a very aggressive team, but when you get out there against a guy that you know is wild, a lot of times it can get you caught in between on what you're trying to do.
Popped up. Adams on the run near the railing at the Braves dugout, and he won't have a play.
Yeah, as hard as this guy throws, too, you don't want to let a good fastball go if you think that's going to be your best pitch to hit. But I contend, Tom, that you got to remember who's in trouble here. Evan got behind in the count. I mean, quickly, because he made a couple of good pitches to Evan. But if you're just a little more patient and make that guy sweat a little bit out there, it might turn around. But again, he has been an escape artist in these situations since the beginning of the season.
And to Tom's point about pitch count, he's about to make his 24th of the opening inning.
Tried to, it wasn't a quick pitch, but it was a slide step to try to catch or try to break the timing of BJ. That was a great idea. Just didn't work.
Do it again and throw that breaking ball. You might catch BJ. A lot of times guys will go to that slide step and they throw their fastball. They have a hard time throwing their off-speed stuff with it.
Swing and a miss, and Miller escapes again. A walk and a double, and then 3 strikeouts. Amazing. Scoreless after 1 in Atlanta. Scoreless game. We head to the second inning. The Braves misfired on their first 2 cracks at Shelby Miller with runners in scoring position in the opening inning. And now Aaron Harang back to work after a very quick and efficient top of the first. He got 3 outs on 9 pitches to Carpenter, Molina, and Holiday. Now he goes after Matt Adams, the big first baseman for the Cardinals. He's hitting a robust .339 for the year.
Braves expecting him to pull the ball with a big shift and having Pena play out in shallow right field. If I were Ramiro Pena and Freddie Freeman, I'd want to play in right field with this guy up too. Pretty good spread though on his hit chart.
And that one rifled into the Braves dugout. That spun Chris Medlin out of the way.
Oh, Chris up a little bit.
A liner foul. One thing that made Adams such a tough hitter last year. 9 of his 17 homers were on 2-strike counts.
That's impressive.
And here he is behind 0-2 to Aaron Harang. Just fouled at first.
His nickname is Mount Adams, 6'3", 260. And it's interesting how many of these big guys like this that you see drafted late, I'm not sure what it is the scouts don't see in them in terms of, I'm sure he just exhibited raw power at Slippery Rock. but maybe they just don't think that they project as a major league player because they're so big. But he was a 23rd round draft pick.
Golfed down the right field line, foul. Off his thumbs, and Freddie Freeman will feed Harang, and Aaron wins the race to the bag. 1 man down. Three groundouts, 1 strikeout for Harang tonight. This will be Alan Craig. One big reason for the Cardinals' 97 win season last year was their work as a team with runners in scoring position. They were a juggernaut. They hit .330 as a team in that statistic, and Craig was maybe their biggest reason why. He hit .454 with runners in scoring position last year.
That's unheard of.
This one's bounced out to second. Pena's got that, and flipped first in time. 2 quick outs in the second. And Craig was another guy, Joe, who wasn't a first-round pick, second-round pick. They got him in the 8th round. Cardinals have done an excellent job of drafting and developing, not just high in the draft, but the Adamses and Craigs of the world who've really filled out their roster in late-round draft pick selections.
Always have. I mean, this organization's been around forever, and they know how to do it.
Many of their young players were drafted by Jeff Luhnow, who's now the general manager in Houston. Here's Johnny Peralta, who was signed by John Mozeliak, the current Cardinals general manager, to a big contract. Cardinals looked for a shortstop all year last year, and they think they found a good one in Peralta, who was a terrific player in the American League.
They drew a lot of heat for signing him. A lot of the Cardinals fans were a little skeptical too after Peralta had to serve a 50-game suspension last year.
He's going to hit one to the fence and left. Peralta's on his way to second. Here's the throw. It's going to be late. And Johnny Peralta doubles with 2 outs. That's the first Cardinal hit.
He's had good numbers against Aaron coming in. A little bit of a hanging breaking ball there, and I guess the good news is he got a little bit too much topspin on it and it stayed in the ballpark.
Peralta signed through 2017. Since 2008 has the highest fielding percentage among shortstops. And he leads the Cardinal team in homers with 7. Here's Peter Borges, former Angel, off to a slow start in St. Louis, hitting .154. Lots of strikeouts.
Which is a shame for a guy that has his kind of speed. And when they traded for him in a deal that sent David Freese to the Angels, they just automatically thought he would fit right in at the top of the order and have Carpenter bat second, who had such a great year last year, but just hasn't worked out that way.
New league, new team, whole lot more attention for the Cardinals than perhaps the Angels. And Borges missed 103 games last year because of injuries, most notably a right wrist fracture. He struggled so far for the Cardinals. Now he's down to his last strike in the second inning. And a swing and a miss. The Cardinals' struggles with runners in scoring position have begun tonight. Peralta left stranded at second. Still no score. Strike count, Tom Glavine. Little dribbler. That's going to be trouble. Smoltz, bare hand play. Oh, my goodness. How in the world did he get Tom Glavine there? That looked like a sure hit.
This is ridiculous. No way. He should have let Chipper handle this.
That was our SunTrust shining moment, and your pal, the winless John Smoltz in the broadcast booth, that's where the wooden ankles thing came from.
Well, you know, I'll give him that. I did have wooden ankles. Just one too many slap shots to ankles as a kid. But all I can say is I have 4 silver sluggers. He has, I don't know if he has any. So, there.
Chris Johnson.
That might end the argument right there.
Might be trouble. But the grab made by Craig and Wright for out number 1. Yeah, he was bragging big time on that play. I mean, for like 2 innings, Tom.
He was bragging all day yesterday. I mean, you know, I watched the beginning part of the game and listening to all this stuff. And then I'm at my son's lacrosse game later, and I getting texts on my phone. This Smoltz still blowing you up. And then I can't believe the guy with no hair has the nerve to get on my hair at one point. I mean, what is that all about?
He was on it hard, too.
Man, oh, man. I mean,
Studio 91.
Adams handles an opposite field smash by Andrelton Simmons. And 2 pitches, 2 outs. And this is what Joe's talking about. John was also talking about the baseball cards that players wish they could take back.
Look at that mullet. Look at that. You know? Chicks dug the long ball and they dug the mullet back then. So
there was a bit of a pensive look that the photographer coerced out of you.
Well, it was kind of like the prom picture type card that they were going for. So, you know?
Yeah.
So I didn't see Smoltz anywhere in that collection. So
we've got some ammo for you later, we promise. As the Braves will clear the pitcher here in the 2nd inning. That's right. Aaron Harang's hitting 8th tonight.
That's right.
This was a strategy that Tony La Russa employed an awful lot with the Cardinals. If you missed Tom Hart and Freddie Gonzalez before the game, the thought process is pretty clear. If the pitcher's cleared, you have a chance to have 2 leadoff men, and maybe your number 3 hitter comes up in the game with the bases loaded. A chance to do a lot of damage. Braves weren't very patient with Shelby Miller in the 2nd. He retired him on 7 pitches. They're still scoreless. Top of the 3rd inning, we have no score in Atlanta tonight. Braves fans, tonight only the Braves are having a 24-hour ticket sale. Club Pavilion seats are only $5 to see the Braves and Cardinals this week. And the Braves and Brewers May 19th through the 22nd. $5 Club Pavilion tickets are only available tonight at Braves.com/Cinco.
Oh la la.
appropriately attired for Cinco de Mayo.
Pretty close to Harang's mustache. And he'll face Mark Ellis, the 8th place hitter for the Cardinals. Ellis, a terrific glove man, too. And hitting .205 for the year.
One of the other positions the Cardinals thought they had locked up and ready to go was Kelton Wong, a former first-round pick at second base, but he struggled mightily, and so much so they sent him back to AAA, and Ellis has been playing second base.
1 ball, 1 strike. Bases empty in the 3rd. And Harang jumps out in front. Cardinals last year 97 and 65. They finished 3 games ahead of the Pirates in the Central. Big years for Adam Wainwright, Lance Lynn in rotation. They combined for 34 wins last year. I told you about their good work with runners in scoring position. And for the 10th straight year, the Cardinals drew 3 million fans in St. Louis. Back to the mound. Harang's got that. And he'll retire Ellis for out number 1. In fact, I heard from one of the Cardinals people today, they're projecting their season attendance this year around 3.7.
Well, I was just going to ask you, I mean, we're in there late next week. We'll get a first-hand look, but don't they have most of that area out behind left field finished now?
The ballpark village is what they call that. Yeah. And it's kind of Wrigley Field-esque with rooftops and the like. And TV studios, the new Cardinals Hall of Fame, which will be at the ballpark. And by the way, Mike Shannon, longtime Cardinal broadcaster, will be in the inaugural class of the St. Louis Cardinals Hall of Fame.
Good for him.
Very nice.
Mike didn't travel to Atlanta for this series, but we'll see him next week when we get to Busch Stadium.
Should be a lot of excitement when you guys get there. They haven't seen these guys very much up there. Probably going to need some scorecards to remember who these guys are. Have to have opening day all over again.
0-2 for Miller, and Harang struck him out looking.
What'd you say between innings about Aaron Harang, Tom?
It's pitching.
He is pitching.
Well, that's what he has to do. See a nice fastball in the upper portion of the strike zone there. But I mean, that's what he's got to do. I mean, that's what he's been successful doing since he's gotten here. Certainly is locating, but also doing a nice job of mixing his pitches up and locating all of them in different portions of the strike zone. And had a little bit of trouble with that his last time out, but not tonight so far.
Here's another one of those late round Cardinal selections. Matt Carpenter, a 13th round pick in 2009. His season took off, as did that of the Cardinals, when he became their leadoff man in early May, almost a year ago today, May 2nd. And he stayed there the rest of the season. Set a Cardinals franchise record for most doubles by a left-handed hitter. He had 55 of them last year. That broke the record held by Stan Musial.
You break any of Stan Musial's records, you've done something. That was the most doubles in all of baseball.
Carpenter spent most of the year at second base last year, but when David Freese went to Anaheim, they moved him over to third. And this ball's bounced toward first and foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And his new deal takes him through 2019 with the Cardinals, with an option year after that.
The other way to short. Simmons bobbled, gloves and guns, and can't get his man. Carpenter will reach with 2 outs.
That had a little more heat on it than it looked like coming off the bat.
Yeah, it sure did from up here. The way he swung at it, I didn't think it was going to get to him with as much speed on it as it did, but Scored a hit.
Second hit of the game for the Cardinals. That'll bring up Molina. Yadier had the go-ahead hit for the Cardinals late last night in Chicago.
Scouting report on Molina too is that now that he's batting up in the top of the order, second tonight, that he's not changing anything about the way he goes about his business. He's still hitting the ball to all parts of the ballpark, which you'd expect from a veteran hitter.
He's made the All-Star team 5 straight years. He's the man that won the first 2 Rawlings Platinum Gloves. Hamilton Simmons won it last year as the Braves shortstop. And Molina, 31 years old. He's signed through 2017. Another option year for the Cardinals in 2018. This guy's been a money player too. A .325 hitter in the League Championship Series, a .328 hitter in World Series play. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He's been such a steady and positive influence on their staff, their team, great leader. But for catchers at about age 31, you start seeing a pretty rapid decline physically. Don't know if that'll happen to Yadier or not. I hope not, because he's so fun to watch, but that's typically about the time you start seeing some changes.
And Molina kept the late night for the Cardinals from being even later, as this one got past Starlin Castro into center field at Wrigley. And the Cardinals took a late lead and beat the Cubs. Still though, the Cardinals lost that series to their bitter rivals in Chicago, the first series win for Chicago since mid-September last year. Back up the middle.
Does that look familiar? Like an instant replay, wasn't it?
So back-to-back hits for the Cardinals brings up Matt Holliday, and another chance for the Cardinals with a man in scoring position tonight.
Just a good piece of hitting there. Fastball running away from him a little bit.
Carpenter at second, Molina at first, and Holliday the hitter. 17 RBIs for the St. Louis left fielder. 4 straight years of 20+ homers for Matt Holliday. 2 years as a Redbird, over 100 RBIs. Last year he scored 103 times, the first time he'd been over 100 runs since his final season in Colorado. That was in 2008.
And he still hasn't scored a run in that one-game play-in game with the Padres.
1 ball, no strikes. Can you imagine what the replay scenario would be if that play were reviewed?
Oh goodness.
Bears have already had 1 game-ending play reviewed. It went their way. That was against the Reds. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sharply hit deep short. Simmons had it played perfectly and won a heads-up play to third. Mike Matheny's going to come argue here as Chris Johnson did a do-si-do around the third base bag. Carpenter was called out at third base.
It must have been fairly obvious because Jose Oquendo immediately waved to Matheny to come out. Great play by Andrelton. He got his foot on it, but did he get it on there before Carpenter got there?
There's the heel, and watch the foot scrape the bag right there.
This ought to be a good one.
Yeah, he's not on right there.
Got him.
You got him.
And again, Matheny satisfied with the explanation at third base. A 6-5 putout retires Carpenter and the Cardinals in the top of the scoreless third.
They put me there just as another leadoff guy, you know, get on base, steal bases, and I got Hayward behind me, so any gapper, you know, we can score.
And so it's pretty simple. That's Ramiro Pena's goal when he's batting in the 9-hole. Chip?
Thank you, Tom. Yeah, get on base like in the American League. Back-to-back leadoff hitters potentially for the Atlanta offense tonight. And you were joking earlier about how disappointed or jealous you are that on the night you're back broadcasting with Joe and me that Aaron Harang is hitting 8th. You were dying to do that, weren't you?
I tried for 8 years with Bobby. Every night I was pitching, I'd come in and see the lineup. I'm like, Bobby, you got to hit me 8th. Nah, I can't do it. Not going to do it.
No. Why? I mean,
I'm like, please, something every night. I was like, have you seen my numbers? Please, come on. No, not going to do it.
Now, does a manager worry about hurting the feelings of the guy that has to hit behind the pitcher? Is that a consideration at all?
I don't think so.
No.
I think Ramiro's tickled to death to be playing, doesn't care where he's hitting.
1 ball, no strikes from Shelby Miller. He's got a good fastball and showed it there. It's an even count.
There's a funny story a long time ago in Los Angeles. Steve Yeager looked at the lineup on the wall and he goes, how can I hit 8th on this team? And the response from someone was, because Rick Rhoden's not pitching tonight. Otherwise, you'd be batting 9th.
Bunt try out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tom?
First manager to do this, guys, as far as we know, was Lou Boudreau with the 1957 A's. He employed the pitcher batting in the 9-hole for the first 56 games of the season. Boudreau was fired in August.
Yeah, but Lou Boudreau is the guy that also invented the Ted Williams shift. And was a player manager for a long time with the Indians. Later became a terrific broadcaster, was with the Chicago Cubs in the broadcast booth for a long time. Two and 2 for Pena. He laid off, no swing, full count. But there is something to be said about, as Joe said, the Braves have played with pretty much a set lineup during this entire streak. Why not try something different?
It's not going to hurt anything, right? I mean,
right.
Mix some guys around, move some guys in and out of the lineup a little bit.
But it is surprising because Fredi Gonzalez hinted after the game last night, well, if I do something, it'd probably be just a couple of minor things. As Pena unloads toward right center field. Gorgeous on a flat-out sprint. He's not going to get there. That'll bounce off the track and into the seats. Ramiro Pena with a leadoff double. This is exactly what the Braves had in mind. Get him on and then turn things back over to the top of the Braves batting order.
Tell you what, he can jump on some low fastballs down and in. That's where it looked like this pitch was. Yep. He is quick right there.
Yeah, it's kind of that typical happy zone for a left-handed hitter, that down in the zone somewhere, typically down and in, where he can just drop the barrel of the bat. And he did a good job of it there.
Jason's job, get him over or get him in here in the third. Hayward walked and was left stranded at third base in the first inning.
Like Tom said, the Braves 10-0 when they score first, and when you're scuffling to score runs, if granted they didn't get one in the first inning, looked like they might at least one, that hurt. But just to get on the board first and get on the board early sure would take a lot of pressure off.
And as much as you, from game to game, try to put behind you what happened last game or what's happened in this streak, once you get inside this new game, you don't want to have too many opportunities like this one or like the first inning where you have that chance and you don't score. Because I don't care how hard you try, inevitably you start getting that, here we go again.
Yep.
And you want to try and avoid that as much as humanly possible. That's why here, I mean, it's almost like I wouldn't even be thinking about a base hit. Just roll over, ground ball, get the guy over, and see if we can get that run in.
Way high, 2 balls and a strike. "13 of the last 20 runs scored by the Braves have come via the home run." Tells you how manufacturing offense has been very slim pickings for the Braves this past week. Chance to manufacture a run here. 2 balls and a strike. And now 2-2.
Nice to go upstairs with the fastball. That's a tough pitch to turn on. See if they try it again.
Hayward swings and misses. That is strikeout number 4 for Shelby Miller. Pena at second, 1 out.
I'm beginning to figure out how Mr. Miller is getting out of all these jams. Great life on his fastball and just going after guys.
Well, he's got to have good stuff because his command is certainly not there. And even that pitch right there, yeah, it's a strikeout. But I thought they were going to be doing the Braves and Jason a favor right there, trying to go with a fastball in where he could turn on it and hit a ground ball to the right side. But he ended up missing his location. Unfortunately, it was on the outside black, so there wasn't a whole lot Jason could do with it.
Now is Miller all right?
Derek Lilliquist, pitching coach, former Brave. Nice pitch. Good catch, guys.
A little oblique or intercostal in between the rib cage. Gets back to my same old thing, fellas. Can't pull fat. Gotta have a little fat on you.
Here's Upton. Pena at second, 1 out, and a liner foul into the seats. Strike one for Justin Upton.
Well, watching Miller on that delivery, he has a very extended delivery. I mean, finish on his delivery. His follow through is really reaching out.
Molina smothered that pitch low. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Get used to this, folks.
Tommy, what a security blanket that's got to be on the mound, huh?
Tell you what, when you have that confidence, you can bounce a breaking ball or bounce a changeup, and especially with runners in scoring position, that is a nice luxury to have.
.25 strikes, 21 balls for Shelby Miller. That's how he's pitched all year this year for St. Louis. The Braves tonight 0 for 3 with runners on base against him. Correct that. They are 1 for 4 with runners on base, 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position against Miller, who wants a new baseball. At the knees, 2-2.
Big call. Let's check out our PNC pitch track. And Tim Timmons was right on, just late.
And that's, I mean, that's a tough one for him to call for a guy that's been all over the place. Typically, when you're here, there, and everywhere, you don't get those borderline calls.
That's tipped and caught. Miller strikes out Hayward. He strikes out Upton, and now the inning's fate rests in the hands of Freddie Freeman.
95 on that one. Knowing what you know about Freddie and the success they had against Gaddis first time around, would you give him anything to hit here?
No. I think last game I said that about Gaddis with a fastball, and I gave him when he hit a home run.
Well, maybe you did, but I think what we'll see is some very careful pitching to Freddie here.
I think that, you know, certainly that matchup, that first go round with Evan will play into it a little bit, but also obviously the righty lefty matchup here versus the righty righty matchup with Gaddis. So this might be the old don't give him anything to hit, see if he's going to chase, and Freddie's typically not going to chase.
Does Freddie's 4 for 32 play into this at all?
I mean, it might a little bit, but I don't think a lot. Frankly, I'm kind of surprised with this kid and his lack of command that they're kind of letting him try and maybe pitch around him, see if he can get him to chase something.
Well, the cynic might say he knows how to miss the strike zone.
Yeah, he does. Remember, Freddie hit a bullet to center field his first time up off of him too.
Two balls, one strike. It looks to me, guys, like he wants to throw the ball not right past the hitter, but right through Molina too with every pitch.
Yeah, I mean, not having seen him very much, you certainly would look at him and think that, well, if you quiet his mechanics down a little bit and get him to maybe throw 92 instead of 96, he might be able to harness it and get in the zone a little bit more.
3 balls and a strike. Freeman launches one toward center. Burgess on the run is going to track it down. They pitch to Freeman and nearly paid the price. A leadoff double by Pena is wasted in the Braves' third. For our Zaxby's indescribably good play.
Great backhand stop by Simmons to first of all keep the ball from getting through. That might have driven in a run, but with the heads up play by Chris Johnson to get to the bag in time, they got the call too at third base. Got him out of the inning.
Mike Matheny hopes his offense will improve in this series. They have not been the run scoring juggernaut in 2014 that they were last year. Matt Adams leads off for the Redbirds. He's their cleanup man. Bounced out to first in the St. Louis second. Look out. That one whistled over the top of the Braves dugout. Hope everybody's all right.
Well, Chip, that's what Matt Adams does. He pulls the ball. That's why the Braves and everybody in baseball plays this shift against him. Yeah, they'll give him those opposite field hits. You saw the spray chart earlier, but the extra base hits are way down. And for a team that is limited in their power, Adams, who had 17 last year, only has 2 home runs this season.
And Aaron Harang is carving these guys up so far tonight. That's his 4th strikeout. 1 in each inning he's pitched. Aaron's last start a real aberration against the Marlins. 9 earned runs, the most he's ever given up in a starting assignment as a major league pitcher. He covered 4 2/3 innings, including a couple of home runs down at Marlins Park. And Aaron was shaking his head, which is what led to the Braves wondering, hey, are the Marlins stealing our signs or something? Because where were these guys last week in Atlanta when he mesmerized them here at Turner Field?
Well, there certainly could be something to that, but assuming there's not, you know, a lot of that's part of what makes this game so great. You know, you just don't know from one start to the next. Even when you're facing the same opponent, you can go out there and seemingly feel like you're doing all the same things, and absolutely nothing goes right sometimes.
Back up the middle. Pena had Craig played well, and a perfect throw to first. A couple of times tonight the Braves have had the right man in the right place and contact. 2 out.
Alan Craig's got to wonder what he's got to do or where he's got to hit one to buy a hit. He's 1 for 14 on this road trip and 0 for his last 11 after having a real good series at home against Milwaukee.
He's probably looking, thinking that was going to be a base hit there. Hit ball to the left side of second base, and the second baseman gets you.
Peralta yanked a double into the left field corner in the St. Louis second. That came with 2 outs. And he bats with 2 outs here in the 4th. Rang's gotten a lot of mileage out of the down and away strike, hasn't he?
A lot of outs down there.
Another chance for Johnny Peralta. His first name spelled J-H-O-N-N-Y. That was how it was written on his birth certificate. It was misspelled then. That's how Peralta has kept it. Peralta broke in with the Indians in 2003. Went to the Tigers in 2010, played there for 3 full seasons. Joe mentioned his suspension last year. Now in his first season with the Cardinals. 3-2 pitch. Little broken bat roller to second. Pena's got that. Rang is rolling along. He's through 4 innings with a shutout. Problem is Shelby Miller's blanking the Braves too. 0-0. Home 4th. It is a picture-perfect night for baseball in Atlanta as we head to the home 4th. Let's see if Evan Gattis can say cheese and hit a home run off Shelby Miller. He'll start the Atlanta fourth. Our friends at Delta Airlines, proud sponsors of the Atlanta Braves. Joe, I'll bet you Mac Honey is grocery shopping as we speak, getting ready for the charter flight on Sunday.
He'll have those peanut butter and jelly sandwiches ready. He'll have the cheese and cracker saucers ready. You know, you have any idea how much saran wrap he goes through in a year?
I mean, hundreds of yards of saran wrap. No balls, 2 strikes. And a hard hit ball by Gattis up the middle on an 0-2 pitch. So another opportunity for Atlanta to do something against an opposing starting pitcher. The Braves have had a base runner in every inning but one so far tonight.
Evan was swinging it real good in batting practice, hitting balls up the middle and hitting balls hard the other way. And a conscious effort to try to stay on the ball a little bit longer, and that was a good swing there behind in the count.
Yeah, tried to go away with his fastball and threw it right down the middle, and that's, you know, part of the thing you got to be careful of with a guy like this that doesn't have as good command.
Upton drives one to center. Borges got a late break. He'll track it down shy of the warning track. And Upton on the first pitch flies out to center. So he's 0 for 2. And Chris Johnson, the batter, he popped out to right on the first pitch he saw from Shelby Miller tonight. So Tommy, you're right. The Braves hitters are betwixt and between. Do you wait out Miller, or do you jump on the first good pitch you see to try to make something happen?
Well, I mean, it seems like it'd be a little bit of a tough situation, like I say, as a hitter. You're in the back of your mind, you're knowing, all right, we got to make this guy throw strikes. He's been struggling, but you know, you certainly don't want to let your pitch go. But even though he hasn't walked anybody, the Braves have had plenty of base runners. So you know, it gets back to that same old thing: is they're getting the opportunities to get in the table set. They're just not able to come up with that key base hit.
Yeah, they need a couple of singles and then a 2-run double somewhere. Just kind of open the floodgates.
Fouled straight back by Johnson. 1 ball, 1 strike.
They've had 3 hits tonight. They just can't put them together, including a couple of doubles.
Freddie Gonzalez shook up his lineup tonight, moving Justin Upton to the 2 spot, BJ to the 5th spot, the pitcher to the 8th spot. And Ramiro Pena got the start at second base. When asked about the second base situation in particular tonight, Freddie Gonzalez was somewhat non-committal. He said, "I will put together the lineup that I think gives us the best matchup to win the game that day." Tonight it was Pena's turn to play, and he led off the 3rd inning with a double.
That's what the manager's paid to do.
Bouncing ball to Peralta at short. He'll step on the bag and fire to first in time. And Johnson and the Braves are doubled up in the 4th inning. We head to the 5th. Bottom part of the Cardinals order is up. Still no score.
as we go to the top of the 5th inning. And fans, now it's time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag SouthFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming broadcast. And it's brought to you by AT&T. Thank God we won't have to see Smoltzy there because he doesn't do Twitter, right?
Right. Check swing by Borges, and it turns to goal, a leadoff hit, and he can really run. You read that card better than Smoltzy, by the way.
Way better.
Just
way better.
Oh, mercy. That bat never even got even with the plate.
He's probably thinking all the swings I've taken, and that's how I get a base hit finally.
And he snaps an 0 for 19 that way. So here's Ellis. See if the Cardinals hit and run with Borges or let him straight steal. Big gap on the right side of the infield. Pitcher due next. He showed bunt and took low. 1 ball, no strikes. Borges is 2 for 2 in steals. Cardinals have 9 stolen bases as a team. My, how the game has changed. You think back to the days when you were pitching against St. Louis, and Joe, when you were playing against them. Coleman and McGee and a host of others
that have 9 in a game,
right? There's a strike, even count for Ellis.
Yeah, I remember one of my first starts early on against those guys. I think it was walk, stolen base, ground ball, losing 1-0. You know, and it was just like, oh, so that's what that's all about.
That's how they played with Whitey Herzog all those years. Jack Clark and Tommy Herr. A fly foul by Ellis. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Guys, Freddie Gonzalez played against Vince Coleman in the minors when Vince had an incredible stolen base season in the South Atlantic League. He tells a story about when Vince was at second base in a random game. He scored from second on a sacrifice fly.
I believe it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's some who think that Billy Hamilton might be as fast as Vince Coleman was, if not faster. Hamilton plays for the Reds. 1-2 pitch is popped out of play. Foul. Will do it again.
What I saw, Billy Hamilton and the Braves did a good job of keeping him under wraps, but he was extremely quick. I'll think about that ground ball that he hit up the middle just out of the range of Dan Ugla, and he turned it into a double.
Yeah, he tagged up and scored on a fly ball that was maybe 30 feet behind second base. Not the second base bag, but where the second baseman plays in Cincinnati. Is going to play foul. Joe, you had the stat. I think it was 150 something steals for him 1 year in the minor leagues.
Yeah, between 2 stops. That's getting on base a lot too.
Boy, I love that game. I love the cat and mouse game. Pitcher, catcher, base runner, would be base stealer. Runner goes, and the pitch bounced towards Simmons at short. He bobbles that, and everybody's safe.
Every once in a while, Anderson tries to do too much. He's so good that he expects to be able to get everything and everybody. And it looked like he was ready to shovel that ball to Pena, and they didn't have a play on Borges, and it cost him. Base hit.
That's ruled a hit. I don't agree with that call.
No, that's a horrible call.
So Shelby Miller will try to sacrifice, and he lays it down. Harang will have 1 play, and he makes it to first. So a sacrifice, 1-4, And another chance for the Cardinals. They had a 2-out double in the second. And they had a couple of runners on in the third inning. And here's Carpenter. Told you about his year with runners in scoring position last season. Let's see how he fares in the fifth inning tonight. Carpenter with 10 RBIs. Cardinals as a team 207 with runners in scoring position.
So that 296 this year looks pretty good. They'd have been last on their team last year.
Yeah. And that's taken low. 2-0. Excuse me, 227 is the Cardinal team with runners in scoring position this year. Borges a clean single. Ellis a disputed single. Miller a sacrifice.
Yeah, I would think they'd change that ground ball. They'll take another look at it and change that to an error.
Yeah, I don't know how you can score that a base hit. There's got to be an out made there somewhere.
Out of play over the Cardinal dugout. Foul. 2 balls and a strike. There's no way that St. Louis would do this year what they did last year with runners in scoring position.
Well, that's the reason they had the year they had last year.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's tough to do. Tough to do that in 1 year, let alone back-to-back years.
And why this guy, as the leadoff hitter, scored 126 runs.
He's putting the 4 corners on Aaron Harang here.
I think if you're Aaron here, this is where the streak and the trouble scoring runs and all that stuff might come into play a little bit more. You're going to be pitching more to not to give up a run.
And he's going to give up 2. Carpenter with a base hit. That'll score Borges. That'll score Ellis. He'll slide into second safely. It's another double for Carpenter. And St. Louis has broken through in the 5th. It's 2-0.
Not a bad breaking ball.
No, especially behind in the count, you got a base open. Try and throw that nasty breaking ball. I think it just broke a little bit, caught a little bit more of the plate than he wanted. But certainly not a bad pitch.
So now you have to mess with Molina. He's grounded to short, and he has singled.
This is a prime example right there, though, of how when you try to do too much and you don't get at least 1 out, like on the ground ball to Anderson, it comes back to haunt you, and it costs the Braves an extra run.
One ball, 1 strike to the Cardinal catcher.
The other side of that too is that if you get that 1 out, you've got a runner at second, 1 out and the pitcher up. Odds are he's not going to bunt, get him over to third, so you got a good chance of having 2 out and a runner at second. And may have a better chance to get out of it.
Yeah, it definitely changes the dynamic of the inning.
Doesn't look like they're going to give Molina much to hit. We've got Matt Holliday waiting on deck.
neither one too inviting.
No, but of the two, he's had success against Holidays.
Yeah.
2 for 25 now, I think, against him in his career. 2 for 23 coming in, and 0 for 2. So, but I agree that typically you wouldn't want to pitch around this guy to put another guy on base for Holiday, but.
Swing and a miss by Molina. Full count now.
Well, the old saying, if you threw a 3-1, you're going to throw it again 3-2. So see if he backs that fastball up with another one, or
it was one of his better ones.
It was
90.
And he muscled up to 91 on that pitch. Molina, one of 3 brothers to catch in the big leagues. Yadier Molina, Jose Molina, and Benji Molina, all major league catchers. Late swing, but he fought it off.
They all had chores around their house, but it involved ball in the dirt drill, throwing to second base drill, pop-ups.
Line drive right center field. B.J. Upton is there, and he makes the catch at the belt. That ball was tailing away from Upton, and he made a fine running catch to retire Molina for out number 2. So Carpenter at second, 2 outs. Here's Matt Holliday. He's our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot. A tough out for the Atlanta staff.
Just glad Pujols is in the other league, although the Braves are going to see the Angels this year in interleague play. The scouting report on Holiday coming in was that he was scuffling and 0 for his last 7, 1 for 11 on the road trip, but that he was hitting the ball on the nose and hitting it right at people, hitting a lot of tough luck. And that tough luck continued in the 3rd inning when he hit the ball in the hole, and Simmons made the good play through to 3rd for the out.
You know, when a player starts their career in Colorado and then moves on, you wonder what his numbers will be like. There's been a drop off for Holiday, but not a dramatic drop off.
no, there's still a big impact in the middle of this lineup.
Sharply hit. Johnson played that to the side, and that ball ends up in left field. Holiday at first. Carpenter will score. It's 3-0 St. Louis, and that's a base hit.
Well, that should have been. That was a legit bad hop single. The one earlier in the inning was not. And he actually got some good fortune there with the hop that took on Chris.
So 3 runs on 4 St. Louis hits. And here's Matt Adams. There's a shift for him with Pena in shallow right. That's laced foul on a play. 2-1. Long inning for Aaron Harang. He's thrown 25 pitches. He should have been out of it after the Molina fly out to center. The Ellis batted ball scored a hit, should have been an error and a second out. And it really helped prolong the inning for St. Louis.
Yeah, not only does it change the dynamic of the inning, but it gives them extra outs, and that's come back to bite them a little bit too.
Just looking at their recent games, and they've been shut out 4 times. The Braves have been shut out 5 times, but they're not going through the same drought like Atlanta. They scored 5 runs last night, got shut out the night before, but scored 5 runs in that first game in Chicago, 9 runs the game before that against Milwaukee.
And the difference tonight, Cardinals are 2 for 6 with runners in scoring position. Braves are 0 for 5. And 3 spot in the St. Louis 5th has them up 3-0. And Adams didn't get the changeup. Inning over. 7 come to the plate. 3 score for the Cardinals. 3-0 Redbirds. Bottom of the 5th inning.
Harang hitting in the 8-hole is on deck to start the inning. You know, I told you that Lou Boudreau did this back in the late 1950s. It didn't happen with any regularity again until 1998 when the St. Louis Cardinals lost 10 of their last 12 going into the All-Star break. Tony La Russa, who entered the Hall of Fame this summer, decided they need to shake things up with Mark McGwire, then moving to the 3-hole. The key, La Russa said, get McGwire to the plate in the first inning, then get him back up to the plate later in the game with runners on. They did it again in '99 with McGwire, and then in 2007 when Albert Pujols was red hot, the Cards were scuffling a little bit. Tony La Russa went back to it.
Makes perfect sense.
He has a good history, Tom.
Andrelton Simmons is the batter, and as we thought, they did change the scoring on the Mark Ellis ground ball to short. Changed that from an infield hit to an error on Andrelton. He'll try to make up for that in the 5th inning. He's 0 for 1. He bounced out to first in the Braves' second. That's outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. There's a start. A base hit by Simmons the other way.
You know, Tom, when I watched Shelby Miller, you would never think that in watching him wind up, take his leg kick, and come to the plate that he's going to wind up facing center field when he follows through. It's really almost a violent finish.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's a combination of the length of his stride, and then certainly the for lack of a better word, I guess, the violentness in the finish. And I mean, you know, you look at it and you think, well, just tone it down a little bit. But he didn't have a problem walking guys last year. His numbers were pretty good.
Now here's a spot, guys, where having the pitcher hit 8th maybe doesn't help you so much. You'd love to have Pena hitting here behind Simmons with a chance to get 2 guys on before Harang tries to lay down a bunt. You don't have that luxury, of course.
No, but similar, I guess, to, you know, if it was the normal situation, he's bunting them over, and then you've got the top of your lineup coming back over again.
There's the bunt. It's a good one, and Adams will apply the tag. Unassisted sacrifice. And you're right, Joe. That's been a problematic area for the Braves offensively. Not so for Harang tonight. Let's see if Pena can bring home Andrelton Simmons. Shelby Miller has an uncanny knack for pitching himself into and then out of trouble. Braves are 0 for 5 tonight with runners in scoring position against him. That stayed high for an even count.
Miller won 15 games last year for the Cardinals. He was 15-9, had an excellent ERA of 3.06. But of his 15 wins, 10 came at home. He had a lot of problems with the Pirates. Did not pitch well against Pittsburgh. They faced Pittsburgh in the first round of the postseason, and they left him off the roster.
And he was a little confused about that. He made their postseason roster, but pitched only 1 time in the playoffs. And he didn't understand why. And it later came to pass that he had been dealing with some shoulder soreness at the end of the year. But Mike Matheny said, look, we think this is a kid that's going to be an anchor in our rotation. We're booking him for 200 innings this year. We'll see if he can get there. He's in the 5th tonight. He's thrown a lot of pitches again. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pena ground ball right side. Adams has it. Runner to 3rd, 2 out. And here's Hayward. Jason has walked and has struck out. Downstairs, 1 ball, no strikes. Another late strike call evens the count. Told you about Miller, how he pitches in and out of trouble. Those numbers are updated, including his work tonight.
Well, that's what's given him a chance to win games, is his ability to get out of jams.
Two balls and a strike. Who makes the grab, and that retires the side. Hayward hit it hard, but the Braves out of luck in the 5th. Still 3-0 Cardinals. Cardinals 3, Braves nothing. We head to the 6th inning of play tonight. Time for our AT&T Uverse trivia question. Matt Holliday's 984 career RBIs are third most among current National League players. Who has the most RBIs among active players? So current NL players, who has the most RBIs?
Brian Howard, Jimmy Rollins.
Good place to start.
David Wright.
Aramis Ramirez.
I was going to say Aramis.
Oh, I like that.
Alan Craig goes to work. And he takes a strike from Harang. 3 runs, 6 hits for the Cardinals. No runs, 4 hits for the Braves. Both clubs have left 4 men on base. St. Louis trying to get above 500. That's off the plate. And look at the funny spin. Nothing Chris Johnson can do about that. I mean, when things are going well for your club, they seem to snowball. When things are not going well for your club, I mean, we've seen a bunch of these in the last 3-4 games.
But we've been talking about how similar these two clubs are, so all of a sudden things are turning for the Cardinals. Watch this. Hurt.
Literally turning.
Yeah. He was 1 for his last 14, 0 for his last 11. Borges was 0 for 19.
Jason hit a ball on the screws.
Yeah.
You know, but those are all these things we're talking about. Those are all the things you can't buy into when you're sitting in that dugout. You just got to keep grinding it out. Because when it turns, it's going to turn in a big way.
Peralta the batter and takes a strike. I'm guessing, Tommy, you all didn't have many rough patches like the one the Braves are going through now, but when you did you guys do anything to try to break the tension? And if so, what was it?
You know, I mean, I think you try to do some things, maybe, you know, goof around a little bit more in the clubhouse, or somebody play a joke or something to try and, you know, ease things up a little bit. But, you know, aside from just kind of reminding yourself to not give into it and just keep, you know, grinding it out, and a bat at a time, a pitch at a time. You don't ever know what the thing is going to be to turn it around. And, you know, even here, you can't give into this. You know, don't give in and then you give up another run or 2 more runs. Just stay the course.
Deep short and through for Peralta, who's got a couple of hits. And now the Cardinals have runners first and second. Nobody out in the top of the 6th.
He was down but had a lot of the plate.
Yeah, that ball's, you know, a little bit more to the inside. That's probably a ground ball to Chris Johnson, or maybe a little bit more away, a ground ball to Andrelton. But right there, he's able to get enough on it, get it through the hole.
Now Jose Oquendo, the Cardinal third base coach, had a quick chat with Burgess here. Would he be bunting with nobody out and the 8th place hitter Ellis on deck? No sign on the first pitch. And now 0-2.
Third base coaches all have a lot of tricks about how to give signs that try to throw the other team off. And Oquendo, I know by this point, after several years at third base for the Cardinals, he's learned them all and invented a few probably.
He's in his 15th season as their third base coach.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Goodness.
Longest tenured member of their coaching staff. And how about that? Ball hit to the opposite field by Burgess. Pena was breaking toward the second base bag at contact. That opened up a big hole. And Craig comes all the way around from second to score the 4th Cardinal run. And St. Louis, with 3 straight singles, adds to their lead in the 6th.
This was a very defensive swing, and a swing you'd expect a guy to take batting anywhere in the lineup, but he's behind 0-2. Just shortened it up, went the other way.
So a 2-hit game for Borges. Here's Ellis. Ellis 0 for 2 with a run scored. Braves bullpen begins to work as Harang nears 100 pitches. Anthony Favaro. High fly to left. That's too deep for an infield fly. But Ellis is retired for out number 1.
Ellis was a good sign by these guys. He's a 12-year major league veteran. They had the rookie that they were putting a lot of hopes on in Kelton Wall, but they signed Ellis to kind of back him up because they were moving Carpenter to third base, and he's always been a good offensive player and hit .270 last year in 430 at bats for the Dodgers.
Good glove guy too, right, Joe? I mean, he's not a error-prone infielder.
No.
No, and a grinder kind of guy too. Just goes out and plays hard every day.
Yeah. Made 6 errors last year.
Bunted foul at the plate. So with Ellis and Peralta and Borges in center and Molina behind the plate, if you believe the old adage, be strong up the middle defensively, you think the Cardinals would be in terrific shape.
No question. You know, they're battling some injuries. They've lost some pitchers. They've lost Joe Kelly. They lost Jaime Garcia, who's been battling some arm troubles for 2 years, and Jason Mott. So they're missing some key parts of their pitching staff.
And bad luck for Garcia. He was making a rehab start the other day and got hit in the pitching elbow with a line drive. Wow. So he's been sidetracked again for St. Louis. Miller bunt off, and he swung through it 0-2.
I like their team. I like their lineup, their makeup. I think when all's said and done, I think they're going to be the team that comes out of the Central.
Really?
I do. Yeah. I like. There's a lot of things about their team that I like, and you know they're going to pitch.
They've got to chase down Milwaukee. They're 5 games behind the Brewers in the Central. They're a half game ahead of the Reds. They're in third place. As Miller bunted that foul, and he's out number 2.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet against him either. Ever.
Bad news for Cincinnati too, though. They lost Jay Bruce, torn meniscus in his knee. He's got surgery coming. He'll be out anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks.
Did that just happen?
Yeah, just a couple days ago.
Did it?
The surgery, at least. He'd been bothered by a knee problem, I think.
Because we didn't see any signs of it here.
No. But the Reds are about to get Aroldis Chapman back. He may be back in the Reds bullpen by the end of this week. Here's Carpenter, 2 outs, 2 on. St. Louis 4, Braves nothing. We're in the 6th.
The thing about the Cardinals is that you always know when you play them in a series, they're not going to beat themselves. It's rare that they make enough mistakes to shoot themselves in the foot. They make you do that.
Dangerous count for Matt Carpenter, who doubled home. 2 St. Louis runs last time up. Now 3-0, and you don't want to face Molina with the bases loaded. Harang or Favaro will have to do just that. Roger McDowell sprints out of the Braves dugout. He'll check in with Harang here, as there's a Cardinal at every base with 2 outs in the 6th, and Yadier Molina is coming up. Braves fans, tonight only the Braves are having a 24-hour ticket sale. Club Pavilion seats are $5. You can see the rest of this Braves and Cardinals series, as well as the Braves battling the Brewers May 19th through the 22nd. $5 Club Pavilion tickets are only available tonight at Braves.com. First walk for Harang, but now Peralta's at third, Borges at second, Carpenter at first, and Yadier Molina with his .336 batting average and 3 career grand slams stands in.
Tough to pitch to, tough to defend because of his ability to hit the ball everywhere.
Molina and another long line of major league catchers who are offensive and defensive specialists. 30 years ago, it wasn't always the case in the major leagues. It was defense first, and whatever they gave you offensively was a bonus. Molina's hit over 300 each of the last 3 years. He's played 136 games or more in 5 straight years.
That wasn't always the case, was it, Chip? I mean, he really worked to improve his hitting.
Yeah, he was a 250, 260 guy in his first couple of years. First 300 season was 2008. But what's really come on, Joe, is his power. Last 3 years he's been in double digits in homers. Now he's in the catbird seat with a 3-1 count. When you get 80 RBIs and 68 runs out of your catcher and he hits .319, you are loving life.
Yeah, and he's throwing guys out at 50% rate. Saving who knows how many runs with blocking balls and everything he does behind the plate.
3 balls, 1 strike. And that's off the heel of Harang. Chris Johnson to the third base bag and eyelash link. Peralta scores for St. Louis. Borges beat Johnson to the bag, and Harang took a shot to the leg, and that might be the last batter he faces. Or first, Freddie Gonzalez wants to talk with Gabe Morales, the third base umpire.
I mean, this might be replay worthy to try to get you out of the inning, save a run. This is a heads up play by Chris to try to just stretch his foot over there. I don't know. Well, that kick made it appear that he didn't have his foot on the bag until then.
And apparently Freddie got the sign from the dugout to appeal it. What the Cardinals, I'm sure, saw was the recoil of the leg.
Oh, he got it.
He got it.
He did get it.
And from that angle, there's no way the umpire can see the ball go in the glove. But that was the perfect camera angle, and our crowd at home is seeing the replay on the high definition scoreboard in center. Again, Chris Johnson, ball in glove, foot touching bag. He should be out. And again, for those who are not familiar with the replay process, review outcomes, there's 3 possibilities. The clear and convincing evidence that the call on the field was correct means the call is confirmed and the call was safe. The call stands because there's no clear evidence, or it's overturned because clear evidence proves that the call should be reversed. And it was. Heads up play by Chris Johnson. Mike Matheny has had no luck at all with the review process. The call overturned. And that ends the inning. Bottom of the 6th inning. Braves trail 5-0. An overturned call takes away a run for the Cardinals. It's 4-0, not 5 as I said going to break, so my apologies for that. Borges forced on a 1-5 putout at third base to end the inning as Freddie Gonzalez continues his good work along with Carlos Tosca and Horacio Ramirez with the new replay system. That saved a run for Atlanta. And a kick save and a beauty for Harang.
Yes, it was.
Races the Cardinals in the 6th inning, but it's now 4-0 with Upton, Freeman, and Evan Gattis coming up. Shelby Miller a big lead. Upton has struck out twice tonight. He struck out 5 times in his last 6 at bats. And unbelievably 8 of his last 10.
Justin can handle anybody's fastball from the belt down. When they elevate it a little bit between the belt and his tomahawk, it's hard to get on top of that for him. It's just not a spot where he likes. They live up there, or trying to.
The last thing Miller wants to do with a big lead is start walking people with the heart of this order coming up for Atlanta.
Yeah, the way he's going, it may not be. Maybe he wants to.
Yeah, what?
Get himself in a little trouble and get going.
But there's the equalizer, a 93-mile-an-hour moving fastball, full count.
That might have been his cutter. No, I think it was just a rear back and fog it.
This young man has been the Cardinals version of Julio Teheran, the #1 ranked pitching prospect in the minor leagues for a couple of years. Joe mentioned the big year he had for St. Louis last year. He's 3-2 this year. And he just walked Upton to start the Atlanta 6th. That's his second base on balls issue tonight. Time for our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. You all think the Cardinals are going to supplant the Brewers at some point in the National League Central because of their pitching? Those are some good reasons why you think the way you do.
You know, the bottom column is going to have to change, no question about it. But if you're third fewest in hits, then I guess you can get away with some walks. But like I've said, they certainly don't want to continue that.
Freddie Freeman's the batter. He's doubled and lined to center.
The bad matchup there is that they lead in strikeouts, and the Braves are 13th out of 15 teams in strikeouts for their hitters.
Braves are averaging about 9 strikeouts a game. Miller's gotten them 5 times tonight. Orang has struck out 6 Cardinal hitters. And Freeman now an even count.
Team photographer with the rapid fire shots at third base.
That's pulled and a fair ball past Adams and into the right field corner. The Braves have runners first and third with nobody out. All of a sudden it's gotten interesting in Atlanta. Gaddis will be the hitter.
At this point, Miller looks like he's just trying to throw strikes wherever he can get them, and that one was fell tight down the middle.
Derek Lilliquist out for a visit with Miller.
Pat Neshek is in their bullpen ready to go.
You might remember Lilliquist was an assistant pitching coach with the Cardinals under the great Dave Duncan, who was Tony La Russa's pitching coach for so many years and in so many places in his big league managerial career. Lilliquist has a fine stable of young arms to work with in St. Louis again this year. Here's Gaddis. First and third for Atlanta. Nobody out. Chance for the home crowd to make some noise now. Hot shot, base hit right field. Upton will score. Freeman around second, on his way to third, and Atlanta is on the board. It's a 4-1 game.
I don't know if he was trying to go that way or not, but again, Evan Gaddis base hit up the middle and now onto right field.
That's going to be the last pitch of the night thrown by Shelby Miller.
That broke a string of 20 innings without the Braves getting a hit with a runner in scoring position and scored a run.
So Miller, 5+ innings of work. He leaves with a lead, but a mess.
Atlanta Braves baseball is presented by the Georgia Lottery, Toyota, and AT&T.
Joe, Tom, and Chip with you from Turner Field, where Braves baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price every day. Atlanta's on the board with a run here in the 6th inning. They have him at the corners with nobody out. And a new pitcher on the mound for St. Louis, and we'll tell you who he is in a moment.
And as promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to #SouthFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming broadcast. And that's brought to you by AT&T. And there's our photo for tonight.
Boy, that's a newbie right there. Born this morning, we're told.
Beautiful.
Wow. And his name is Murphy. Congratulations. Awesome.
New pitcher for the Cardinals is veteran right-hander Pat Neshek.
Well, he's the ground ball guy, and you'll see why in a minute. High 80s, low 90s with a slider, and he is one of those guys that all elbows and kneecaps.
Freeman and Gaddis aboard for Atlanta. Neshek, you might recall, was a Minnesota Twin and Oakland Athletic. Also spent some time briefly with the Padres. Fly ball well hit to left. Holiday is there. He'll make the catch. Tagging and scoring will be Freddie Freeman. It's a 4-2 game. B.J. Upton knocks in his 7th man.
Started in with a fastball. Boy, he put a good swing on it. He elevates that just a little bit. He gets it out of here.
Yeah, for a ground ball guy coming in, you got to make him getting the ball up, and BJ got him to get that ball up in the zone where he could grab that ball to the outfield, drive the run in.
Is he looking at the point of contact on that bat, Joe?
He might be looking to make sure he didn't crack it.
So 2 are in for Atlanta. Gaddis at first for Chris Johnson. And Neshek drops it in for a strike.
This guy almost looks like he doesn't pause, almost like it's like a wind-up out of the stretch.
Neshek, another veteran of Tommy John surgery that cost him the 2009 season. Before he got hurt, he made the All-Star team with the Minnesota Twins. He has never started a game in the major leagues, and came into the season with a 16-9 record in 226 big league ball games. If Hunter Pence is the praying mantis at the plate, this guy might be the praying mantis on the mound.
It looks like he should be coming submarine, doesn't it?
Right.
But he doesn't.
He doesn't.
Fly ball, right field. Burgess makes the play. Johnson flies out. 2 are down for shortstop Andrelton Simmons. Remember, the pitcher spot is due next. That's the 8th position for Atlanta. And with that in mind, Ryan Doman has grabbed a bat and would pinch hit if Andrelton could reach. Two runs, 2 hits, and a walk in the Atlanta 6th. That's cut the Cardinal lead in half. It's now a 4-2 game.
His fastball is certainly good enough. 91. If you're thinking about, looking for something down, the slider down, the sinker down, well, he can elevate his fastball and get away with it. Although BJ almost took one out of here.
Here comes the 0-2. That swept outside. Good eye by Simmons. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I'd like to see him try that again and try to throw it for a strike and give Anderson a chance to shoot it into right field.
Ooh. Tantalizing pitch. 2-2.
He's pretty much gone away and then up and in, away and up and in to Anderson. It looks like they're going to stay away.
Neshek wanted that pitch too, and after an 0-2 start, now it's a full count.
ENC pitch tracks. Might have shaved it.
Gaddis will be off with the pitch. And foul back our way. And we'll do it again. Anderson put up real good numbers against the Cardinals. 7 career games, a homer, 4 RBIs, and 9 hits. He's got a hit tonight, but not this time. Neshek struck him out and puts out the fire in the 6th. The Braves, though, scored twice. They do it on 2 hits and a walk, including an Upton sac fly. The Braves are a bloop and a blast away from tying game 1 against the Cardinals, who lead 4-2 after 6. The night is done for Aaron Harang. 6 innings, 9 hits, 4 runs, only 2 earned. He'll give way to Anthony Varvaro, who will work the top of the 7th.
11th game for Anthony. Only 2 walks against 13 strikeouts. That's good work. Worked in 2 games against the Giants, an inning and 2/3, 1 hit, 0s across, and 3 strikeouts.
Matt Holliday will lead off for the Cardinals. He had an RBI hit in the 5th. St. Louis scored 3 times in that inning. Andrelton Simmons' error helped their cause. And for Harang, as we've said so many times, not much run support. And were it not for the error, the 2 unearned runs, the difference in the game. 1 walk, 6 strikeouts for the big right-hander for the Braves tonight. Anthony's put together a run of good work, 3 straight scoreless appearances. 4 out of his last 5 outings.
As big as Matt Holliday is now, it's hard to think of him as a high school quarterback, but he was a all-state quarterback in Oklahoma and in Stillwater, Oklahoma. He's going to go to Oklahoma State, of course. But the Rockies drafted him very high and signed him.
Little chopper toward third. Chris has it. Toss across in time for out number 1.
6'4", 250.
I was going to ask you, how'd you like to have your choice of Matt Holliday, Mike Morse, or Adam Dunn as your high school quarterback? We forgot to get it in during the Giants series, but Mike Morse had a high school team in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for which he played. It's hard to believe his team didn't score a single point all year and didn't get across the 50-yard line until the last game of the season.
Wow.
Did they not call a quarterback sneak ever?
Yeah. Well, I was wondering if there was a need for a quarterback change about the second game.
Here's Adams. And he pops 1 foul to the left side. Strike 1 to the Cardinal first baseman.
He's seen 19 pitches tonight, and 16 of them are strikes. And he's 0 for 3 with 2 punch-outs.
And he's behind 0-2 for Varvaro. Out of play. Braves are keeping an eye on the scoreboard tonight. Want to always know what the Nationals are doing. They're in a rain delay. The Nationals leading the Dodgers 2-0 in the 4th inning.
And the Marlins are doing exactly what they've been doing. They fell behind the Mets. Jonathan Neese was throwing a shutout, and now all of a sudden it's tied.
Did he go? Yes, he did. Adams is called out at the plate. 2 up and 2 down.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Wasn't pretty, but he did.
Alan Craig, the batter. He's 1 for 3 with a run scored. Yeah, so Miami 3, Mets 3, bottom of the 8th. Marlins have them loaded. Rockies winning at home again, 2-0 over Texas. Toronto 3-0 over the Phillies. That's in the 8th. Wildwood and Pittsburgh 8-7 Pirates over the Giants. Boy, the Pirates been a disappointing team this year after making the playoffs last year. They can't get any traction. They're 12-19 and 8.5 out of first, tied with the Cubs.
8-7 Pirates. You said. I wonder if the Giants have hit 7 solo homers.
Might have.
No homers. Laser Baker said, hey, by the way, welcome back, Laser Baker. Brought him out of retirement.
One ball, one strike for Craig. And now he's down to his last cut. Cubs, fresh off their series win over the Cardinals, are hosting the White Sox in the Crosstown Classic. 2 games at Wrigley Field and a couple of games at U.S. Cellular Field. And the Cubs will come to Atlanta to wrap up this homestand Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Pop fly foul. That's out of play.
Alan Craig's like a lot of hitters these days. They start with their hands in a funny position, kind of an unconventional hitting position. His hands are real low, but then by the time the pitcher's ready to release the ball, he's got his hands back up where they need to be. He's a good young hitter and has a lot of power to right center.
See if that sets up the outside corner here.
See him take another shot with that slider here after that fastball in.
That's what Anthony wants.
And it worked to perfection. Favaro, another impressive outing, his 4th consecutive scoreless outing. His spots due first when the Braves hit in the 7th.
This copyrighted telecast is the Atlanta Braves and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves.
Cinco de Mayo in Atlanta. It's a 4-2 Cardinals lead as the Braves come up in the 7th. Here's our Georgia Power game summary.
Shelby Miller did his usual escape artist act. Only a couple of walks tonight, though, but the Braves had him in trouble early, and he got off the hook. Carpenter's had a good night. Evan Gattis and Freddie Freeman came through with hits for the Braves. 2 runs in the 6th inning. And now a guy, I don't know if you've seen this guy, Tom, but you're going to like him. Hitters won't. This guy's really, really good.
Kevin Segrist making his team high 17th appearance for the Cardinals. And he can really bring it. 6 strikeouts in his last 2 innings. And that went in at 95 over the inside corner to pinch hitter Tyler Pasternak.
He can go to 97 or so. Last year he set a St. Louis record for the lowest ERA by a relief pitcher in their team history, with a minimum of 35 innings of 0.45.
That's pretty good.
39 innings, 50 strikeouts. He only gave up 17 hits.
Can you say Eric O'Flaherty?
There you go. 6'5", 215. Out of Buffalo, New York.
See what round he was picked in?
No.
41st. And he just struck out Tyler Pasternak looking. 1 away in the Atlanta 7th.
I wonder if there's some of that northeastern bad weather bias like affected Mike Trout getting drafted so low in the first round. He was in New Jersey, but it was assumed that he didn't play against good enough competition. Maybe they thought the same thing about this guy in New York. Although he was born in New York, I'm not sure where he grew up. Never mind.
Graduated Wellington High in Florida. So.
Florida.
It gets really cold there in the winter. Yeah. Been there a lot. I'll tell you what. Well, those 63 degrees December mornings are brutal.
He gets out of Florida for the winter and went to Buffalo.
Yeah.
But again, that's one of the secrets of the Cardinals, and it's really not a secret. Late round, mid-round value picks that turn into very productive, if not star, major league players on this Cardinal roster. Pop fly foul by Pena. It's 0-2.
Love his arm action. He was the 1,235th player taken in the draft that year. Wow. You know, maybe he had a college deal, said he wasn't going to sign. You know, one of those deals. Don't draft me unless you draft me in the first round because I'm not going to sign. And then maybe they changed his mind.
That's well hit by Pena to left field. Holiday going back. And one's going to go. It's a home run for Pena.
And he did it right-handed. He didn't throw that one hard enough.
No, belt high down the middle. As hard as he's throwing, if you get a good swing on it, it's going to travel.
So the Braves have cut the deficit to 1 run. It's 4-3 on a Ramiro Pena solo homer. That is the first home run for the Braves on the homestand. 1 ball, 1 strike for Hayward. He's walked, struck out, and lined out. And he goes the other way for a hit. Holiday kicks it into the corner. And Hayward will stand at second with 1 out.
As good a hitter as Matt Holliday is, he's never been known as a good outfielder, and I think he was just sliding on the turf to try to keep this from getting by him and help kick it to the corner. Good piece of hitting by Jason, by the way.
Yeah, that ball had some mustard on it. That was traveling pretty hard there on the, even though it was a ground ball by the time it got out there, it was scooting.
That's a double all the way for Hayward. And the Braves now have 8 hits. Here's Justin Upton. a strike. Justin's seen a lot of fastballs on the inside corner on this homestand. He took that one for a called strike. Over the outside corner. And Upton is down on strikes.
That looked like Molina didn't even have to move his glove.
That's 2 back-to-back pretty good pitches. .95 down there. That's about all you can do is take it.
Yeah.
Here's Freeman. This is a fun matchup. Freddie hits lefties well. Segrist a real good lefty. Freddie's bat coming to life with a 2-for-3 night. He's also scored a run. And that just missed.
Cardinals have a right-hander ready in their pen, Carlos Martinez.
Good eye by Freeman. 3 balls and a strike.
Good patience there. Now he has a pitch to play with here. If he wants to look for something other than the fastball, he can do that. Otherwise, look for a real small zone, that heater.
Sharply hit. Adams corrals it. Flip to the pitcher. Got to the bag in time to beat Freeman. Sharply hit, but out. The Braves get a Pena homer to draw a run closer. We head to the 8th. It's now 4-3 St. Louis in front.
Samuel Adams.
Braves have come back from a 4-0 score to make it a 4-3 game after 7 innings. Top of the 8th inning. Peralta, Borges, and Ellis are coming up, and they'll face David Carpenter.
David was in one game against the Giants a couple of days ago. 1 inning, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Hold them right there. Get those bats back up there. They're beginning to percolate.
Pena with 2 extra base hits for the Braves tonight, starting in place of Dan Uggla at second. Now Johnny Peralta looks outside at ball 1. Peralta has 2 hits. He doubled in the 2nd, singled in the 6th.
Saw something interesting today. I told you earlier about Chip that I really had to look twice at. I was looking at some standings, and in the American League East, this particular set of standings showed run differential, meaning how many have you scored versus how many has the other team scored. And every team in the American League East has a negative run differential, even the first place Yanks.
Doesn't seem possible, does it? As Peralta's down on strikes, chased a pitch up and in. Good start for Carpenter in the 8th inning. 1 up, 1 down.
Well, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on, and the National League East is one of them. With the Braves 6-game slide, a game and a half separates all 5 teams.
Good night for Borges at the plate. He breaks his bat, pops one to short. Simmons drifts out and puts the squeeze on that. 2 outs. Here's what Joe's talking about in the East. The Phillies and Marlins are in last place, but only a game and a half out of first place.
And Washington, who's had a chance to move into first place the last couple of days, hasn't been able to take advantage. They've lost 2 in a row, and they're in a rain delay tonight, even though they've got the lead on the Dodgers.
And the main reason the Braves are in first in the division is their record within it. Atlanta's 12-9 against the East.
When did you say the Dodgers were going to get Kershaw back?
I think he's starting later this week.
Not in Washington.
You know what? Let me check that for you.
Hey, wait a minute. I got it right here. He's starting tomorrow night.
It's tomorrow night?
Uh-huh.
So if I'm the Giants and I'm sitting atop the National League West and I'm 2.5 games ahead of the Dodgers, and Kershaw hasn't pitched an inning for LA,
yeah,
don't know how comfortable that lead feels for the Giants. 0-2 pitch to Ellis is fouled back, and the Cardinals' second baseman will swing again here. He's 0 for 3 tonight.
Can't ignore the Rockies either.
No,
they're playing great. They've gotten off to a good start, and they're 11-5 at home.
Because they average 7.4 runs a game and are hitting .343 as a team at Coors Field.
Man, oh man.
And they've hit 28 homers at home.
Wow.
That's more home runs than the Cardinals have hit as a team anywhere. And that's a little low. Nolan Arenado, a 24-game hitting streak on the line. He had a double last night to extend it to 24.
And no Todd Helton.
No. Jordan Lyles is supposed to pitch for the Rockies tonight, and he's 3-0. Former Astro. He's beating Texas 3-0 tonight. It's upstairs to Ellis, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
For a lot of people, including yours truly, who were kind of raising some eyebrows at the Dexter Fowler for Jordan Lyles trade, that was an odd one, but obviously Dan O'Dowd knew what they were getting when they got Lyles back. He's been a good addition to the rotation.
Yeah, and it wasn't an exile to Siberia, but most pitchers would think that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, not the place you want to go to jumpstart things, that's for sure.
But he's done it. Give him credit. ERA under 3 is Lyles. And leading the Rangers in an interleague game tonight. The Giants have tied the Pirates. That one's 9-9 after 6.
It's quite a departure from the 3-game series here.
Matt Cain was supposed to start that game for the Giants, but instead they put him on the disabled list. He was out with a cut finger. He was opening some mail and sliced open his finger the other day. And Jeff Locke was supposed to start for Pittsburgh tonight. Yusmeiro Petit went to the hill for the Giants. Pitched a great game in Cain's absence 1 turn ago.
A lot of dangerous chores around the house. You gotta be careful.
I think Mike Matheny can tell you all about that.
Yeah.
He cut his hand open before the playoffs, I think, and was lost for the Cardinals a few years back. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and outside to Ellis. Carpenter's run it full. John Jay's grabbed a bat. He's on deck.
It's in the Jared Saltalamacchia on deck circle.
Yeah.
Well, there's a little known rule. If your last name can reach the on deck circle, you can stand wherever you want. Top of the hour, top of the 8th. Base is empty for St. Louis. They lead 4-3. And popped up by Ellis, out of play, foul. In the Braves' 8th, Gaddis, B.J. Upton, and Chris Johnson are scheduled to hit. That's a fair ball. Johnson with the peg to first, and that will retire the side. Here's your Delta Airlines on deck trio coming up. Gaddis, Upton, and Johnson in a 1-run game late. Well, a comeback win would be just what the doctor ordered, and who better to get this thing tied than El Oso Blanco with his fan club at the ballpark. He leads off the 8th inning against Carlos Martinez.
16th appearance for him, 0-1 on the year.
Martinez has had the strikeout working too. He struck out 6 in his last 5 innings. That was a disappearing slider. And that is something Freddie Gonzalez has been talking about, Joe and Tom. The Braves are swinging at a lot of bad balls. Gaddis, one of the chief offenders.
Well, I mean, it's a little bit more understandable.
Molina cleans that up in front of the plate, and Gaddis is out number 1.
You know, you got guys coming in there, guy after guy, that's throwing mid to upper 90s. You know, and you got to cheat a little bit to get to some of those fastballs. If they have a slider that starts anywhere in the vicinity of where their fastball starts, then you're going to see some guys cheating, thinking it's a fastball, and you're going to get some bad swings.
Especially when you know a guy can hit 3 digits like this guy, 92 to 100.
Martinez made the jump from Double-A to the big leagues last year. Made his major league debut in May last season. He's the Cardinals leader in rookie postseason appearances. He was in 12 games during St. Louis's run to the World Series against the Red Sox.
'99 on that last pitch.
Upton drives one to right, but that's going to be playable for Craig. He's got it. A step shy, or a step onto, I should say, the warning track for the second out. Chris Johnson's 0 for 3. He's popped out, grounded out into a double play, and fly to center. 20,048 the official attendance. And another drive to right. This one headed for the corner. This one bounces foul. On a play, strike 1. Segrist and Martinez, the appetizers for Trevor Rosenthal. And he's another guy that can bring it up.
Yeah, they can. They can just 1, 2, 3, 7th, 8th, and 9th, 95 to 100.
Nothing in 2.
That's not fair. Back it way down and throw an 87-mile-an-hour breaking ball.
Bounce toward third. And a long throw across is in time, and Martinez has a 1-2-3. Bottom of the 8th. We go to the 9th. 4-3 St. Louis.
by Angry Orchard Hard Cider.
There's your score, 4-3 St. Louis, the lead after 8 innings of play. David Carpenter pitched a 1-2-3 top of the 8th inning. He won't be allowed to continue in the 9th. Mike Matheny has called upon John Jay to come pinch hit. So Freddie Gonzalez wants a lefty-lefty matchup. It looks like Luis Avilan is the man that's going to come out and start the 9th for the Braves. Tonight only, it's the Cinco de Bravo. Braves are having a 24-hour ticket sale. Club Pavilion seats are only $5 to see the Braves and Cardinals this week. And also the Braves and Brewers series, May 19th through the 22nd. $5 Club Pavilion tickets are available tonight only at Braves.com/Cinco.
Oh, that girl lost her mustache. Almost don't recognize her anymore.
Bless her heart. Luis Avilan is the pitcher for Atlanta. Randall Grichuk is in to pinch hit for John Jay. Cardinals get a righty-lefty matchup now. And that's taken high. 1 ball, no strikes.
15th game for Luis.
Grichuk was part of the deal that sent David Freese to the Angels. It was Borges and Grichuk for Freese and Fernando Salas.
I'm told this guy can play pretty good center field too.
He's another guy though, Joe, that's had wrist problems. Borges had surgery to fix his right wrist. Grichuk broke his left wrist and tore ligaments while diving for a ball in 2010.
Yeah, that sounds like a bad one.
Hit .256 with 22 homers though last year for Arkansas. And this ball sharply hit to third. Long throw to first. Gets him. There's out number 1. Chris Johnson's made a couple of good plays at the hot corner tonight. He's our great clip of the game this evening.
Took the ricochet rabbit. And with the bases loaded, got a big out. Somehow found the base with his foot as he was reaching for the baseball. Great play.
Braves bullpen to this point has done its job. They've retired 7 Cardinal hitters in a row. Hoping the Braves can come back with at least 1 more run. Matt Carpenter is the St. Louis leadoff man. He's reached base 3 times. He's singled, he's doubled, he's knocked in 2 and walked. And now he'll be thrown out by Simmons for the 2nd out of the inning. And 1 more crack at Yadier Molina now. He's 1 for 4.
Trevor Rosenthal is loosening up. Here's their closer.
Bouncing ball to Simmons. Molina is an easy out. Boy, Avila needed an inning like that. He got the Cardinals on 3 groundouts and 6 pitches. Last call of the night for Atlanta. Once again tonight only, the Braves are having a,
what are they having?
Cinco de Bravo ticket sale.
Really? When did this start?
Who would have thought? Club Pavilion seats are $5 for this Braves and Cardinals series, and the Braves and Brewers series as well. But it's tonight only. You can get them online at Braves.com/Cinco. Before the Braves come up in the 9th inning, let's revisit our AT&T Uverse trivia question. Matt Holliday was the subject tonight, and I believe the question was, Holliday is 3rd among active players and RBIs in the National League. Who's first?
Whichever one of you said Aramis Ramirez.
That was me.
I'm on board.
Okay.
I'm on board too, but you know,
spread the wealth.
Just in case, let's spread it out. I'm gonna go. I'll go David Wright.
David Wright and Aramis Ramirez, 2 third basemen, and of course,
wow,
we forgot about Bobby Abreu.
Well, he just got called up. How are we supposed to remember that?
Yeah. I didn't even know he got called up. So there.
Okay.
I was distracted by the Cinco de Bravo. Here's Simmons against Rosenthal, and you talk about hard-throwing right-handers. This guy fits the bill to perfection. 8 for 8 in saves, 19 strikeouts in 13 1/3 innings.
Yeah, but look at that ERA. He's been getting knocked around a little bit.
8 walks.
Yeah, 9 hits, 8 runs, 8 walks. Yes, 19 strikeouts and just a 176 average against him. But if he's putting men on base, the Braves will take it.
He's behind Simmons, 2 balls, no strikes. And a home run cut at 96 miles an hour. Ryan Domitz grabbed a bat. The pitcher spot is in the 8th spot on the lineup card. That was the big story tonight. Freddie Gonzalez shuffled things up. Braves have 3 runs on 8 hits tonight. Way outside, 3-1.
Got to be a smart hitter here. And if you are going to take a hack at one, make sure it's right where you want it.
Yeah, better really be in your happy zone.
Yep.
It was, and Simmons has a leadoff hit. The tying run is aboard. And now it won't be Ryan Domitz, it'll be Jordan Schaefer who grabs a bat.
And he'll be asked to do something very difficult, and that's bunt, some 95 or 96 mile an hour heat. Really good swing by Andrelton after that big home run cut. 3-1 there. He cut it down a little bit. That fastball to right center.
The Braves have not been a sacrificing team this year. It might surprise you. Jordan Schaefer, 17 at bats, not a single sacrifice hit.
Well, he'll be asked to here, and it'll be a tough task.
Cardinals wanted to see if he would tip his hand. He didn't.
Well, got good speed at first, so you don't need to be perfect. Just get it down out there somewhere outside of the dirt and take your chances.
There's the bunt. And it was pretty. Simmons to second on the sacrifice by Schaefer. Good time for his first. Now the tying run in scoring position for Atlanta, with Pena and Hayward to follow on the lineup card.
Almost a bit of confusion there as to who was going to field that. And Rosenthal almost got in the way.
Yep.
So Ellis and Molina talk with Rosenthal. New set of signs perhaps with Simmons at second base. And a big night for Ramiro Pena. He's doubled and homered. The homer came as a right-hand hitter. He's shown plenty of power from this side, and Rosenthal will provide it. Pop fly foul, strike one. Here's Pena's 7th inning blast.
And hit it off of hard throwing Kevin Segrist. Didn't take a big swing, just got the bat out front.
Yeah, that was a nice easy swing. Not what you typically see on a home run cut.
Might be the recipe here with Rosenthal in the upper 90s. Fly ball to right, but not deep. Craig is there and has it for out number 2.
I think that got in on Ramiro just a little bit. And a visit from the skipper.
You've got Hayward. And then you've got Justin Upton.
As they talk, and as Andrelton comes over to talk to Doug DeCenzo at third base, if I'm Andrelton, I think I'll just stay there until they make me go back. You know, they even notice.
See if they're paying attention.
Yeah. Just stay there.
Tying run at second, winning run in the batter's box for Hayward, 2 outs.
Well, this discussion is Tom, or you pointed out, Chip, that was about Justin Upton. Really didn't have a whole lot to do with Hayward as much as the guy you've got on deck. You've got a base open. I know he's the winning run, but you got a right-hander on deck you might want to prefer to pitch to.
Right-hand hitter who's really struggling to make contact.
He is, and he's been striking out a lot, as you pointed out. But this guy's fastball, if it's down in the zone, if Justin gets a chance, I'll take my chances with him.
Well, I hope they keep pitching around Jason here inside and make a mistake down and in. That'd be fine.
So it looks like the strategy's pretty apparent. The danger, though, is, like you said, you make a mistake, why not just go ahead and intentionally walk him?
Yeah.
Three balls, no strikes.
Rio changeup.
Yeah, for a strike.
He's taking a shot with that. Oh.
All bets are off now for Hayward. 3-1. And that's inside. Did you see Molina? He was ready to load up and throw to second base with Simmons taking his lead. He was thinking about ending the game that way, but Peralta wasn't close enough to the bag to receive a throw. So they pitch around Hayward. The winning run is on base. And now Justin Upton is the hitter with 2 on and 2 out.
And it's kind of funny the way it's turned out, but with the lineup shuffle, the game on the line, you've got the guy that's been batting cleanup for you up there with a chance to tie it or win it.
Now this strategy is only going to carry the Cardinals so far if Upton reaches, because then you've got Freddie Freeman, a left-handed batter, and the Braves' number 3 hitter waiting on deck. And he's had a good night tonight. Good cut. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That was his best heater so far, too, at 97. See the location of that fastball. That was up. See, anything up there, he has a hard time getting on top of. Well, if he'll just drop that fastball down a little bit.
Or hang a slider.
Now it's 1-2.
Be really surprised if they don't try to waste one up.
Well, unless they think that's where they want to go to get him out, you might waste a slider in the dirt and then go up.
Strike 3 called, and Rosenthal gets out of the 9th inning and saves the game for Shelby Miller. The Cardinals beat the Braves by a final score of 4-3. The Braves' losing run reaches 7 games in Atlanta tonight.